Greetings, good people. Welcome to another edition of Leaders and Learners, where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. And today on Leaders and Learners, we are joined by a powerhouse of a storyteller, Alretha Thomas. She's not only an award-winning author, playwright, producer, but a woman whose pen pierces deep into the human experience. Her latest novel, The Daughter Between Them, is a stirring exploration of identity, secrets, and the resilience of family. She's here to share the truths behind the fiction, the lessons behind the characters, and the legacy she's building one book at a time. So let's welcome this phenomenal woman, Miss Alretha Thomas. How are you?
Hi, Tanya. I'm great. What a wonderful intro.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much.
I love having you here. I have loved reading the book, just really getting into your style. And now I'm trying to get behind the words, behind the thoughts, into the mind of such an amazing author. So, again, thank you for sharing this with the world. And I appreciate you being here today. So, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And I
Okay.
want to ask you, The Daughter Between Them is packed with a lot of emotion and moral complexity. What was the moment of inspiration that sparked this particular story for you?
That's a great question. And it's wonderful to be here. Around Mother's Day, I got the idea for The Daughter Between Them. The idea of mothers came to me. I unfortunately lost my mom when I was only 14 and she was 36. And I actually found my mom succumbed to asthma in our living room at that time. So it was a very heart-shattering moment. But my mom, I believe, is with me always. And so around Mother's Day, I start thinking about mothers. And there are all kind of mothers. You know, they're good mothers, they're bad mothers. Um, and I wanted to do something about two mothers that were the antithesis of each other.
Mm.
And I have one mother in the present day and one mother in the past. And these mothers are related. And as you read the novel, as you know, you find the connection. The connection is revealed as you read the book. So that was the thing that inspired me. Mother's Day, my mother, writing a book about mothers, and the love. You see the love the mothers have for their daughters and the daughter between them. And being that I lost my mom at 14, there were so many times in my life where I wish she had been there, where I wanted her and needed her physical presence, although I believe her spiritual presence is always with me. And so I kind of vicariously lived through both characters in writing this, but that was the inspiration, just my mother, not having her, and the idea of mothers and the love of a mother.
That's kind of deep. And with Mother's Day coming up, y'all, it might not be such a bad idea to get your copy. Okay.
That part,
Wanted to
that
let
part.
you know. It's a beautiful, oh, when I got mine, just looking at the little girl, it just took me back to my own childhood when mama used to do your hair and get you all
Yes.
dressed. And my daughter has pictures of her when she was younger, and she sees, like, yes, I never had you going out of the house looking crazy. It is definitely a black mama thing. Like, we don't play them
Okay.
games. So, yeah, with that, I want to ask, how did writing this novel challenge you as a storyteller and as a woman?
Wow. Well, the challenges were just balancing. I think the most challenging part was writing the character, Barbara Morris, because Barbara Morris is the one that has psychological problems, and she would be considered the antagonist. And I didn't want to write a caricature. I wanted this woman to be three-dimensional, and I wanted there to be a reason for her cray cray. I just didn't want her to just be out there. And it was a challenge to do that because of the things she had done and the actions that she had taken, it was hard to keep her where you would have empathy for her. And I think that was the most challenging part of the novel, was writing the Barbara Morris character.
Mm. Did you have complex situations, a complex relationship with your own mother?
I didn't really. It was pretty straightforward. Like I said, I lost my mom I was 14, so I didn't have a lot of time with her. But as a little girl, I just remember a lot of love from my mother. I remember her playing jacks with us, and my mother was very sickly. And my stepfather was not around a lot because he was in and out of jail. So my mom was left alone to care for. There were six of us. Um, so she cooked, she baked food, she made our school clothes, she baked cakes and bread. I mean, she was a traditional woman. That was the type of woman she was, and that was the time she was brought up in. But I adored my mother. I loved her. And I couldn't, the complexities came with the things that happened to her because she was very vulnerable and people took advantage of her. And I got to see her in a lot of uncompromising positions and
Mm.
hurtful situations. And I remember one time coming home from school and there were all these people surrounding our apartment. And I just started crying when I saw my mom in that situation. And when she cried, I cried, so I was very close and very drawn to her. And when I look back, I just wish I had been older and I could have done more for her and I could have protected her more.
Wow. Um, I think we find ourselves in that situation as kids sometimes, like almost wanting or needing to play the adult, to be the protector, to be the nurturer, even to our own parents. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy though? How we can feel like that
Yeah.
as kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. In many ways, your own journey. I want to know how your own journey as a Black woman, an author, producer, influenced the themes that you chose to explore in this novel. So, not just the motherhood, but the complexities, the relationships. How did your roles in this life influence those?
It's a good question. And as you know, Leslie Graham is a news reporter and she's trying to become the first Black female editor at her news um, paper in this fictional town called Dancing Hills, California. And as a Black woman coming up in the 60s and the 70s, and, I went to USC, I wanted to be a journalist. And when I got out of college, I it was a recession. And I remember thinking to myself and having a lot of insecurity because I knew that at that time there were a lot of Black reporters. You had Barbara Walters, Oprah Winfrey was coming up, but there weren't a lot of us. So I felt like I could sense the pressure and the stress of, am I going to be successful in this adventure when I make this foray into news journalism and TV journalism? I remember going to small towns like Bakersfield, and I remember meeting with the news director there. And I remember there was a Caucasian reporter on right there reporting, and I was in the room with him, and we were watching her. And I remember looking at him, and I remember him looking at her and saying, "Oh, look at that pretty lily white skin," or some reference to her complexion. And I kind of reflected on myself and said, well, I'm not lily white. So it was kind of interesting. And it just brought back the challenges of being a Black woman and becoming successful. And it has changed in the past 3 decades since, I had graduated. So you see a lot, we see ourselves now, but back then that was a challenge. And so I brought that to the story of Leslie Graham, trying to
Mm.
become the first Black news editor at her paper. So I could relate to that. And so that inspired that, being Black, and coming up and
Ma'am,
trying to become a professional woman.
oh, ma'am, listen, you do a lot in the storytelling, the entertainment sphere. what does it mean to be a Black woman right now for you? Like, what does that feel like? If you can, because one thing I know storytellers can do, real good storytellers, is not just tell people how you feel, but walk them into those emotions. What does it feel like right now to be a Black woman in this country?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel ferocious. I feel ferocious. I feel strong. I take inspiration from the Maxine Waters, the Kamala Harris's. I feel strong because I'm not going to let anything get me down. And I look at the present day situation as a challenge, and I like challenges. I've been dealing with challenges my whole life. When I was 3 years old, a neighbor scolded me. I've been molested. I found my mom deceased. I had a stepfather that beat me, because I wet the bed. So I've been a fighter my whole life. And I rise to the challenge. So I feel like I got my armor on. I'm a spiritual woman. I got that whole armor of God on. I feel fearless in spite of everything that's going on. And I'm the light. And I want those that feel like they want to crumble or get in bed, put the covers over their head. Don't. The best is yet to come. We got this. God got us. Take this. Don't let these challenges scare you. So that's how I feel right now.
I love that. It makes me feel like I'm a little jovial about it when I hear like influencers and people just, I love being Black. Like, I would not choose, no matter
No.
how you treat us, to
Mm-mm.
be anything else.
Yeah.
Is it like, hello?
Yeah. And Tanya, I get it honestly a bit because when my mom was a fair complexion woman, and my two older sisters were also light skinned. And when my mom had me, she was like, "Oh, I finally got a Black baby." And she was in the Nation of Islam. She was a Black Muslim, her and my stepfather. So my mother doted over my skin color. So I never had that complex about skin color because she just instilled in me that I was beautiful because of my skin color. Now, I believe we're all beautiful. And I was talking to someone I had an interview with earlier, and I was saying, God knew what he was doing when he made all these different hues and all these different complexions. He likes diversity. Look at his universe, all the different flowers. We're not, do you know how bland and ugly it would be if we were all the same complexion? He wants this, but we all come from the same source. Hello, we're all brothers and sisters, and we got to know that. It's just some of our siblings is acting up, you know.
They need a
And so
whooping. They need a
so
whooping.
they need spanking. But we got to take the high road. Like Michelle said, First Lady, when they go low, I go high. We go high.
Oh no,
But yeah,
I think she
no,
switched that up.
I'm
I think she
promoting.
switched that up again. I think she switched it to uh something else. But
Okay.
ours is when they go low, we go to the depths of hell. Because
Okay. All right. That part, I'm good. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Okay.
Miss Fighter, yeah. I
Okay.
think this next generation, the younger generations are like, we can't keep doing it like our ancestors did it. We got to keep
No.
doing it, but we got to do it different, because being passive about it
Mhm.
is making them think, what is it, if someone hurts you and you're silent about it, they act like you enjoyed it.
No.
We
No,
will
we
not
won't
go
do that.
silently
No.
into the night. We will not go
Yeah.
silently into the
No,
night.
we won't.
With that being said, how do you, because I love this fire in you, how do you define leadership?
Wow. I define leadership as being excellent, being an example, being accountable, having a plan, following that plan, showing up when you say you're going to show up, being early. Early is the new on time. Doing what you say you're going to do, being a woman of ethics, ethical and being credible, where people can trust you, they can depend on you. When your name comes up in the room, people will say, oh yeah, she's the one. She's going to do what she says she's going to do. She's going to be on time, if not early. She's going to be there for you. She's going to be accountable. She knows she's not perfect. If she makes mistakes, she's going to admit to it, and she's going to do better. That's leadership to me.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate that. Listen, I want the people to hear a little bit from you on the book. It's important that they understand your words when you read them. So if you don't mind, if there's a passage that you want to read to our audience, I would love for you to share.
Okay. There's some choice words in this, folks. This is toward the end of the book, and this is Barbara, the one who has the psychological issues. And this is the coming toward the explosive end. My heart pounding, my body sleek with sweat. I take a deep breath, desperate to tune out the sound of my mother screaming at me. It feels as if I'm having an out of body experience. Trevor, his eyes locked on me, holds Deborah in his arms. He makes a sudden move without thinking. I turn the gun on him. He freezes. Please don't hurt them. Nancy mumbles, tears spilling out of her eyes. My mother is still shrieking, God damn it, Barbara, you listen to me. Give me that fucking gun. I cannot bear the noise of her shouting at me. Shut up, Mom. Just stop talking. Barbara, you don't want to hurt anyone, Trevor says. Give me the gun, Barbara. He releases Deborah and moves toward me, his hands out in front of him. Step back, I yell, shifting my weight. My leg is getting tired. I grip the gun harder and aim it at Trevor's head. And I'm going to stop there.
Why is that passage important to you?
Because it's where Barbara Morris comes face to face with the mother that put her through so much. And this is the moment of truth. This is the moment of, is she going to stand up to her mother and end this insanity? Or is she going to succumb to her mother one more time? This is a huge turning point for Barbara and for the story. And I believe in turning points. I believe that there are decisions. We come to forks in the road in our lives. We come to places in our lives. We have to decide, am I going to keep doing the same thing, expecting different results? Or am I going to do something different? And I've had to do that in my life on more than one occasion. I've had to make choices and realize I don't want to do this anymore. And that's why that's important to me. That passage holds me.
So tell me, what's something in the daughter between them that you think readers might overlook, but it's important to you in this book?
I think they might overlook the spiritual connections, the power of prayer and a spiritual connection that Leslie has. Because it's not a book, a Christian book per se. It's not a book where I'm Bible thumping or I'm knocking you over head with a religious message. And so because it's slightly in there, someone can overlook it. Mm. And I don't want that to be overlooked because I believe that in there, that recognition of that higher source and that higher power that Leslie taps into to get through this is what really gets her through it. And so that is a piece that I don't want people to miss, that I don't believe in taking credit for the life I have, the successes I've had. Yes, I've had a partner, and that partner is God. And I've partnered with God, and I could not have done it. Could not have achieved anything that I have without him. And he's using me in the same way to get his message across and to help and bless those that he wants blessed through me. So it's a partnership.
Love that. If you could leave one message one message in the heart of each reader who finishes this book, what would it be?
It would be to look at the people that are in your life and stay in connection with them in terms of their mental, spiritual, emotional well-being.
Mm.
Don't overlook or don't assume that they're okay. Check in with the people in your life that are close to you that you love, and make sure that they're okay. That would be the message I would want to leave.
Mm. It's very timely. I was just talking to someone recently about the rate of African American males that are committing suicide,
Yes.
and it's rising, and no one seems to know why. But the truth of the matter is, we're not doing the best that we can in being friends and family that check in and really check in, not just, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Are you all right? I'm cool. No, we got to do better.
And
We
I think we rely on social media too much. It's like we see the relationship goal post, we see the happy post, and we think, okay, they're okay. They posted, so they're okay. Because my husband will ask me from time to time, have you talked to so and so? And I'm guilty of saying, oh, well, yeah, I saw them they posted on Facebook. But that's, as we know, not real. We got to start picking up the phone again. We got to start getting in the car and driving over and knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and going and being present with each other physically and
Yeah,
not cyber wise.
absolutely. Absolutely. Give me 3 words. 1, 2, 3 words that you would never want affiliated with you.
Flake, mean, lazy.
Yes, you are a busybody. Yes, you are. You stay busy, booked and busy. You are definitely not a flake. You show up. You do what you say you're gonna do, and sweet as the day is long. So I absolutely appreciate you sharing that with us, and I hope that our listeners will take the time to get the book, read the book, share it with someone. Mother's
Thank
Day
you.
is coming up, y'all.
Yeah.
It's a good time to grab a good book. There it
And the
is.
book was voted one of the number one suspense. Kirkus Reviews voted it as in the top 100 thriller books of 2024, indie books, one of the top 100 indie thriller books of 2024.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes,
All right. Winner,
yes,
winner, chicken dinner. Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
What's next for you?
Well, I'm probably going to be heading to Atlanta soon to film another season of Assistant Living.
Hmm.
So I'm excited about that. And I am producing a play that is going to be most likely at the Hudson Theater in Hollywood in October. So got a lot of good stuff on the horizon.
Well, can you please keep us posted so we can keep our listeners and followers posted? We would love to continue to support you. Found out on our call that we are not that far away from each other. So,
Yeah,
your shows, I would definitely love to show up and support. But you are an incredible talent. You are
thank you.
extremely consistent in putting out good product. And I think in a time like this where people are going to concerts and they don't always end well, and they're going to shows and they're leaving disappointed. All y'all have to do, you know how big I am about reputation. This woman has a stellar reputation for delivering incredible performances, and you need to do yourself a favor. Follow her and support. Thank you again for being here. Please keep in touch, stay in touch with us, let us know what's going on with you, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Tanya. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Absolutely. Please stay in touch. Thank you
Will
so
do.
much for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for showing up to the podcast where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. When you get a sec, take a moment, leave a comment. What you think about today's episode? And share it with someone that you know could use the gems that were dropped today. Follow and subscribe. You don't want to miss who's coming up next. You never know who could show up here and what they could say. For your professional needs, marketing, PR, communications, and leadership, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sand and Shores or hit us up at sandandshores.com. Again, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.